Hello, 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 everyone. It's Dr. Brandy B. Thank you so very much for joining our Focus on It Friday. We are here with the entire family, so you may hear all sorts of things in the background, but nevertheless, we are here. Let me pull up my comments so I can see who's joining. I see that there is at least one person watching with us. Let me know who you are. And if you're wondering, I'm in the vehicle, I'm buckled up, but I am not driving. I am keeping it safe. We've got Miss Destiny Stevens here with us. Hello, Dr. B, she says. And we say thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Who's got the jar right to turn that down, please? All right. So appreciative for you all being here. We have sorry. We actually went on a little vacation with the family, and guess what? I looked up and it was 1 o'clock, and I said, "Oh my goodness!" I completely forgot about my friends over at Focus on the Friday. But I hope that you all will forgive me. I was having a little bit of fun with the family. I don't know how to swim. I'm trying to figure it out right now. But we had some fun nonetheless. Of course, I was working. We've got Mama Rudolph here with us today. She's waving at me. She's in the front seat. We've got cousin Karen from Albany, Georgia. That's Albany, Georgia, spelled the same as Albany, New York, if you were wondering. We've got Auntie Julia. We've got Miss Sadie. I've been missing you all. I'm so glad to be here with you all today. And we're going to talk, of course, about my favorite thing to talk about on the planet, and that is ADHD. I've got Faith over here with her phone playing a combination of Christmas songs and all sorts of other things. I'm going to see if I can sneak and turn it down just a wee bit. It may not go well, but let's see. All right. I think we may be okay with that volume, but is watching you too, and we say hello, Miss Destiny's daughter. So good to have you watching. I love all of my viewers the same. We are so glad to have little people watching us because it's never too early for us to start learning. Is that right? All right. Well, let's go. Dr. Brandy B, triple board certified child and adolescent psychiatrist, pediatrician, adult psychiatrist, best-selling author, thanks to you all, speaker, and mommy. I'm also an ADHD expert, and I love helping mommies get the education. Today is a representation of what it means to be a working mommy. So one of my girlfriends and colleagues, Dr. Creed, talks about wifeology and all of what that means, being a wife, being a mommy, being a worker. And you know what? I take vacations, I work, somebody's got a pee in the background. We do whatever it has to happen, whatever it takes to get it done around here at Dr. Brandy B. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is ADHD. What it is, real quick, because we've got a lot of new friends. Of course, you heard me say that I'm a best-selling author. I actually did not bring my book today because I walk around every day with that book. Fred, do you have some bookmarks in the mom is helping to get some bookmarks? Yeah, so several of you have gotten my book Shine. Yay, 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 yay. Thank you so very much. And so I usually carry a copy with me, but I did not bring one today, but that is all right. So I've been recuperating from that. My launch was absolutely amazing, and I thank you all for joining me. But let's talk about ADHD, what it is and what it what ADHD is. So I want to make sure that everybody knows in the first chapter of my book, I spent quite a bit of time talking about how ADHD is not your fault as the parent. As the parent, ADHD is not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong, right? There are several reasons that a child could have ADHD, and most of them have nothing to do with anything that you all did as a mom or as a dad. Um, What ADHD is a neurodevelopmental and a neurobehavioral disorder. And I love the fact that we talk about it being neurologically based, because that lets people know and reminds everyone that yes, it is brain based. If you're still watching here, go ahead and write brain based. Brain based. So just write brain. Just write brain. Sit there. That way we know that it is something that happens in the brain that and so that makes it real, right? That makes it real. The other thing you need to understand about ADHD is that children and adults who have it can't help it. Much like any other diagnosis, any other illness, mental or physical, people have these things going on and they would much rather not have them. So to pretend or to act as if um, and such. The other thing is that ADHD, much like any other mental illness, can have long lasting and sometimes devastating impact on a person's life. So whether that be their life as a student, their life as a parent, their life as an employee, their life as an employer, their life as a friend, their life as a child, their life as a friend, whatever. Age will impact the life of the person who has um, and so that is very important to know, because sometimes when people do things, yes, even including drugs, it could be because of their ADHD. And again, not because the person is just choosing to do that. Of all the things that a person could choose to do, who do you know would just choose to continue to be on drugs, right? They would absolutely stop and not continue to do that. So that is one thing I want you to know. It's not your fault. We are going to make this work. It is not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. It is based in the brain. I mean, it is not something that people feign or fake, right? So it's absolutely real. And I said about the first chapter of the book, going on talk is that ADHD is real, what the exact parts of the brain that it impacts. So you can understand. We'll just go remember I'm in the car, so I'm using some car Wi-Fi in my little box. So I apologize, but I did not want to miss you all. Mama says, appreciate all. As best we can. All right, so there are three types of ADHD. All right, there's a hyperactive impulsive presentation, there is the inattentive presentation, and then the combined presentation. The hyperactive impulsive includes symptoms such as being talkative, being loud, always needing to be reminded to not just be quiet, but to quiet down. Have you ever met a kid who does everything like they are on 10, scream out for no apparent reason, and you're like, what in the world? Is there a fire? Being loud, being talkative, always being on the go, act as if driven by a motor, not being able to stay seated, being impulsive, so blurting and interrupting when other people are talking, fidgeting, always moving with their hands, always moving with their feet. These fidget spinners, which are old news now, and I think there's something that you can punch. That's the new thing now. People with ADHD, they love those because it would either be that or they're either punching, packing bubbles. So those are things that you want to watch out for. Having a hard time completing tasks before going to a new one. That is typically a symptom of ADHD as well. Hyperactive impulsive presentation. Now, of course, there's the inattentive symptoms. The inattentive symptoms are going to be symptoms such as losing things, forgetting things, being easily distracted. Have you ever met a person who always forgets stuff? They're like, I forgot. And you're like, I just told you. You ask them to go get white socks. They come back either with no socks, blue socks, black socks, his socks, her socks, anybody's socks but the socks that you asked them. And it's always either I forgot or I can't remember. All right, you got to watch out for that. Losing things, being disorganized. Being disorganized could be in time and in place. So time got away from me. You're disorganized. Or I forgot where I put it, being disorganized. Or if you open up a child's book bag and nothing is where it needs to be, that is a sign of being disorganized as well. Some people's disorganization comes out even in their appearance. Their clothes are one button off. Now that can happen to anybody. Never happened to me, but it can happen. We as women will buy the same shoe multiple times. I mean, you sometimes, when you're rushing, you might get the navy shoe and the black shoe mixed up. But these are the people who are always doing that, and there is no discrepancy or closeness in the color. The shoes and the shirt, everything is just not on right. And have you met anybody ever who's just what we call scatterbrain? They literally will be talking to you about one thing and they may say squirrel or just start talking about something random. And you're like, well, where did that come from? Being disorganized. So being disorganized, forgetful, losing things, important documents, important pieces of paper, even checks, losing everything, losing keys, losing wallets, losing cell phones. Several gadgets now help us keep up with things that we lose, things like the towel, and I'm sure there's several others that help us keep up with things because we're always losing them. What else? Procrastinating. Procrastination is a huge deal. And procrastination simply means that you're putting off for later what you could be doing now. Why do people with ADHD procrastinate? Because they know that it is going to be difficult to get started on that thing and stay focused. So instead, they just wait until the very last minute, and then they end up rushing and making careless mistakes, which is also a symptom of ADHD, the inattentive type. So if your loved one, your child, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever, your employee has any of these symptoms, that may be something worth having them to consider being checked out and evaluated for ADHD. Now, those were symptoms that I just mentioned. They were all symptoms of inattention, right? So we got the inattentive presentation, the hyperactive impulsive presentation, and then the third type of ADHD presentation. Let me just see y'all type in the chat combined. Now, let me just tell y'all, I'm going to go over, and I don't know that we've ever really talked about this a great deal over here at Focus on It Friday. But because y'all are being so patient with me today as I roll with the entire family, Mama included, y'all know Mama rolled deep with us too. Most younger children are going to be of the combined presentation. So if you are considering your 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and yes, 3-year-olds can have it, okay? Your 3-year-old, your 5-year-old, your 4-year-old. If you are considering that they may have ADHD, more than likely, they are going to have the combined presentation. Hello, Miss Mitchell. Thank you for joining. Combined presentation, where they are going to be very hyperactive, very impulsive, and also they are going to be very inattentive as well. Now, some people may say, how in the world can you tell that a 3-year-old is hyperactive? Aren't they all? And how in the world can you tell that a 3-year-old is not paying attention? Don't they all lack attention? But if it's your grandchild, you've raised at least one child, so you know what it's like for a child to be able to sit down for at least a couple of minutes and listen to a story. But if this particular child cannot sit down at all, we may have a problem. Now, one other thing I'm going to tell y'all about, just this little freebie here. A lot of times parents will say, well, he can focus on that Xbox for 12 hours straight without thinking. But what I want you to know is that fascination is not concentration. What do I mean by that? I'm so glad you asked. Things that pique our attention. It could be moving video games like Roblox, which is what my children like to play. Or it could be, some particular arts and crafts that you really like to do. Whereas It's not necessarily ping pong power, loud noises and bright sound, loud noises and moving targets, but it's something that you like. You find pleasure with it. It's relaxing to you. You could do it for hours on end. But give you a book about a topic that does not interest you, it may be more difficult for you to concentrate. So just because a person has one or two things that interest them, that they can spend an infinite amount of time doing, does not mean that they cannot have ADHD, which will require them to have some focus in a greater amount, greater depth. Now, someone might say, well, oh my goodness, when should I get my child treated? Remember, I started out by saying that ADHD and any other diagnostic disorder, mental health disorder, is going to have as a consequence that relationships, so your social, your academic, your family life, your work life, all of these things can be impacted. So at the point that you've tried tutoring, you've sat your kid, go back and listen to our talk when we talked about good study habits. That was not on a Friday. It was a random Wednesday, I believe it was. You've made the room right for, you set the ambiance for them to be able to study, but still they're all over the place. The blinds are closed, the phone is off, the TV is off, all the other kids are outside, and still this child can't focus. And so now we're at the point where grades are suffering, right? So now we've got to decide, do I make my kid repeat this grade, or do I get my child treatment? That is completely a choice that is up to you. And, in my book, I spent an entire chapter talking about just treatment options. So medications are but one treatment option. But I want you to know, you don't want to hear it, but medications have been the most consistently shown to be effective when it comes to ADHD. So all of the other behavior modifications, absolutely, and the other treatments absolutely should take place. But it just may come down to medicines. And so I explained all the questions that I've heard parents ask, like, will it make my kid be on drugs? Or will it make my kid be a zombie? Or will it make my kid's personality change? All of those questions I address in my book. But over here at Focus on It Friday, my main goal is to help you understand what ADHD is, so that you can recognize those symptoms sooner rather than later, because we know that ADHD can have significant impact. Now, let me just tell you this before I go. One of the things that is not included in the diagnostic criteria for ADHD, but is well known and accepted to be fact, is that ADHD has a strong mood component. What do you mean by that, Dr. Brandy B? Oh my goodness, I'm glad you asked. People, and this is adults and children, people who have ADHD can be extremely irritable. Like, you don't even know where it came from, irritable. Like, everybody in the house is walking on eggshells, irritable. Some of it may be because nobody likes to be reminded of things that they already know or think they know. But you as the parent, you as the spouse, you as the teacher, you as the student may know that this person is likely to forget. So when you remind them, that may trigger something to say, I got it. And you're like, you probably don't have it, first of all. But second of all, lower your voice, okay? So this is well known. So this is one of the many reasons worth treating ADHD, is because the mood component can just be so traumatic to people who have to experience life with a person with ADHD. And so it is definitely worth treating. Mama says a strong mood component. You got it. A strong mood component. Yes, yes, yes. She says she thinks it's supposed to be a Peter. That's all right. We're traveling. Mama, we appreciate you being our scribe for today's show. What questions do you all have? I know you have questions, and how do I know? Because you all come into my inbox. with your questions. So go ahead and ask me now, because guess what? Somebody wants to know the answer to the question that you have. And we are family here. We do not tolerate any unkind behaviors. And so we definitely want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. While the questions are coming in, I do want to take this opportunity to let you all know about a 7-day challenge that I'm going to be having. It will probably be mid-July. Mid-July, we will start the week before, whatever the 20th is. So that week. And it's free. You're going to be with Dr. Brandy B for 7 days, for 7 nights, for 7 nights. We'll be together about an hour each night, and it's going to be an intimate group. I'm looking to have 10 families, 10 moms, 10 dads, 10 teachers, whoever comes. And what we're going to do is be looking at ADHD from a treatment perspective, recognition, management, acceptance, because acceptance is big, and then life after, kind of the way that my book is set up. If you're interested in that, go ahead and email me at drbrandy at drbrandyb.com. Dr. Brandy at rough roads. Dr. Brandy at drbrandyb.com. Go ahead and email me and just say, I want to work with you for free. All right, sounds good. Any questions? All right. I hope everybody has learned something today. You know, this was a review for many of my fans who come and hang out with me every day. And by the way, I appreciate you all so very much. You all, by far, are the best fans ever. And I have proof. I won't say how, but y'all are the best fans ever. And I mean that from the very bottom of my heart. You all got your girl to bestseller status at my launch on the 8th. And I'm so appreciative of you for that. If y'all ever need me for anything, with all sincerity, please go ahead and inbox me. If you're my patient, though, you know, I have nurses who are set up to handle your patient issues. And I tell people all the time, Brandy and Dr. Brandy do not talk. So if you're my personal friend, but your child sees me, and so you as my personal friend tell Brandy something, she may not tell Dr. Brandy. And you'll be like, girl, did you not do it? And I'm like, did you tell Brandy? Because Brandy does not remember these things. Brandy likes to go on vacation with her family. Dr. Brandy, though, has some friends who make sure that she does what she's supposed to. Brandy does not have friends like that. All right. She hangs out with little people who are hiding under towels right now and doing who knows what behind me. I'm scared to look. But Mama says always good information. We appreciate you, Mama, for your support always. So Dr. Brandy, I'm going to Dr. Brandy at drbrandyb.com. Work with me. That's the free 7-day challenge. Free 7-day challenge. All right. If there are no other questions, I am going to end. I will miss you all tremendously, but I will see you again next week. Before I go, please make sure that you remember that COVID-19 is still around. They're talking about now a Delta variant. They're talking about if you got your vaccine more than 6 months ago, they don't know if it, is going to be holding you. They don't know when the booster will be needed, if a booster will be needed. So it is imperative that you take care of yourself. Don't let anybody bully you into saying, well, you got the vaccine, you don't need your mask. You need whatever you need to make you feel safe and whatever you need to make you feel comfortable. Because if you're hospitalized or on the ventilator or whatever else, those same people are going to be saying, girl, why didn't you wear your mask? Girl, why didn't you wash your hands? So we would much rather you be safe now than feeling regretful or not feeling anything because you're, sedated with medications later. Auntie Julia says, enjoy that vacation. Yes, ma'am. It's just a little quick one. We are not going far away, but anytime I have with my family is a great time because I love, 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 love them. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. If you need me, you know how to find me. Safe travels, have fun, and be safe, says Auntie Miss Sadie. We appreciate you so very much. If you all need anything, give me a ring. Be safe. Get the book Shine. It's everywhere, y'all. It's in Walmart. It's in Target. At their websites everywhere. So make sure you tell y'all your friends, and y'all are doing a great job. I'm just so grateful. All right, I'm gonna get out of here, and I will see you all next week. Until next week, make sure that you keep shining. I'm Dr. Brandy B, triple board certified child and adolescent psychiatrist, best-selling author, international speaker coming up. Speaking of which, if you know any organizations, PTAs, PTOs, corporations, doctors' offices, anybody who is looking for someone to speak on ADHD in particular, or mental illness, mental health, specifically, ADHD, specifically, or mental illness in general, please have them to give me a ring. I am definitely interested in doing that as well. And the more people we can get educated, the more people we can save and we can help shine. So I will see you all next week. Y'all have a good weekend. Be safe. All righty. Bye-bye.